We got two mock drafts today for the Steelers. So I've been iffy with this channel for doing mock drafts, doing not Steelers moves, transactions, anything like that. Non-Steeler news. And I definitely didn't want to do it before free agency. Who are we going to keep? Who are we going to lose? Who are we going to bring in? Who are we trading for? Who are we signing? It's, it's kind of iffy on that sometimes because, before free agency, I'd say we need to draft a safety decently high, and we still very well may draft a safety, but it can be a little later. We have the running back position. I would have probably said draft one in the first, maybe draft it as early as the fourth. But now I'm like, okay, do we need to draft one at all? Can we wait until the 6th round? Can we wait until the 7th? Because, Travis Homer, he's going to be special teams mostly. He really doesn't have a lot of carries on his body. If we keep Isaac, okay, the left guard is really not as much of a need as it is now because we didn't keep Isaac. So, definitely post free agency is a good starting point. So, I'm going to do 2 mock drafts. One of them's here on PFF because I don't have the PFF Plus, so I can't do trades. So I have to stick and pick right where I am, which I kind of want to do. So we are going to do it on PFF here, and then I'll pick one where it is free trades. Either Pro Football Database or whatever it's called. Like, there's a couple. Pro Football Network Database. It's something like that. There's a couple, and I'll pick one. But first, let's start off here with PFF. And on PFF, you can do this without the PFF Plus. You can change the draft order, and you could give the Steelers the first pick in the draft. We're not doing that, obviously. We want to do a real mock draft. So, now, while you can't do trades, you can, while in the free edition, see what it would take to get the deal done, right? So, if the Steelers wanted to go from 21 all the way to 1, according to Pro Football Focus, we'd have to give up our first this year, our first next year. We'd have to give up our second this year, our second next year, our third this year, third next. So we are going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we only have a 19% chance of having this be accepted. If I then give them 85, now it's a 47% chance to be accepted. But I'm giving you 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 3 third-round picks in order to move from 21 to 1. Obviously, not happening. So we're going to click right out of here. There we go. And we are going to start the draft. So it's going to quickly fly through. We can go over the picks as they went before Pittsburgh in the first round. So it starts off Fernando Mendoza, David Bailey, Arvell Reese, Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, Ruben Bain Jr., Caleb Downs, Francis Mauigoa, Mansour Delane, Spencer Fano, Carnell Tate, Dylan Thieneman. That's actually probably the earliest I've seen him go is 12 to Dallas. Kenyon Sadiq, Makai Lemon, C.J. Allen, Jermod McCoy, Monroe Freeling, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. This is really unfortunate. Olavega Ione. I think is, or Yoone or something. I'm very close on that. The guard from Penn State, he goes just 2 picks before us to the Carolina Panthers, and Avion Terrell goes at pick 20. So we have available to us, because remember, we cannot trade, and our needs are quarterback, running back, guard, and tackle. I don't know if I would say running back. I don't know. I really don't know if I'd say that. But let's go through these. Jordan Tyson, Akeem Messidor, Keldrick Falk, Omar Cooper Jr., Blake Miller, Cassius Howell, Caden Proctor, Caden McDonald, TJ Parker, Max Ianachor, Denzel Boston, Caleb Banks, Peter Woods, Colton Hood, Casey Concepcion. I did it again. Emmanuel Pregnon, Kristen Miller, Caleb Lomu, Lee Hunter, Zion Young, Brandon Sissy. I fucking did it again. Ty Simpson, D'Angelo Pons, Chris Bell, Jacob Rodriguez, Chris Johnson, R. Mason Thomas, Chase Besantis, Jeremy Bernard, and Keith Abney II. I just went to 50. I really didn't need to, but that's who's available. In this situation, I would be very open to trading back at least a couple of picks, because I really like Jordan Tyson, and if his medicals are good, I'm good. Omar Cooper Jr., like him. Any of these tackles you could probably put at guard for a year, and then you could throw them out at tackle if you wanted to. Denzel Boston, I think he took an official visit. Do you want to get D-line depth? Like, there's a few players here where if I were to go from 21 to 28 or something like that and pick up an extra third, I would absolutely do that. Or can I give you 21 and a third for 28 and a second? What can we try to do here? So, I mean, in theory, right? Who's calling? The Seahawks are calling with pick 32. So let's just pick them for shits and giggles. So obviously we're not doing a 1-for-1. If you were to give me 96, that's for sure accepted. Give me 60. Heck, even 64 has an 80% chance. And that's going all the way back to 32. So I can get the 64th pick in the draft. Can I get like a... Okay, I can't get a... I could get a 4th next year. So I can get a 2 and a 4 for 21, going all the way back to 32. Okay. Now, so yeah, just to go back to 28. So I could probably get a 2nd. In the theory of... I mean, hell, if I go back to... Oh, we're not trading with the Bengals. Do I want to go all the way back? I don't want to go all the way back to 48. Let's pick the Giants at 37, right? Give me 37. Give me... You don't have a lot of picks. Give me your 2nd round pick next year. Okay, you're not going to give me your 1st next year, but if I get my... So if I give you 21, you give me 37, a 2, and a 3 next year, and I could even, if we want to go 50-50, 216, that's a 51% chance of being accepted. It's not going to get much easier, and that's a 49%. Like, you're really not going to get any easier than that, no. Okay. But even this, at a 47% chance, I can walk away with... Basically, I'll trade back into the early part of the 2nd round, and I get a 2nd and a 3rd next year, which the draft next year is really good, so that's probably not a reasonable trade. Like, the Giants are going to be like, no, we want our effing picks. Like, we want those picks next year. But in any event, we can't trade, so... Tyson, he has the size, 6'2", 200. Does it have anything on here from, like, Combine? I don't think so. But it's got, like, his snaps. He really doesn't play in the slot, but that is fine because Michael Pittman can. Like, and at that point, your top 3 receivers are, like, 6'4", 6'3", and 6'2". With Pittman, DK, or, you know, if you want to count DK as basically 6'4", you can count him as a 6'4", but I think he's 6'3" and change. Omar Cooper, he's not small by any means. He's 6 foot. But he does have a good amount of slot snaps, so he could be your slot receiver. Put Pittman, DK on the outside, Omar Cooper in the slot, and let him go. So having Michael Pittman is very nice for that flexibility of we know what you can do. You can do basically whatever. And it's like we don't have to draft a slot. We don't have to draft an outside. You can do both. So then it's however the board falls. I'm going to take Omar Cooper Jr. here in the hopes that like a Bisontis is still there in the second round to take at guard. So I'm going to draft. Bisontis went. I saw it. Shit. All right. So after we drafted for the Steelers. Okay. Jordan Tyson with the very next pick to the Chargers. Cassius Howell, Akeem Messidor, Caden McDonald, Kedrick Falk, TJ Parker, Blake Miller, Colton Hood, Denzel Boston, Caden Proctor. Did Miami go receivers? Cardinal Tate and Denzel Boston. Wow. Okay. Caden Proctor, Zion Young, Maxie Nachor, Peter Woods, Kristen Miller, Casey Concepcion, Brandon Sissy, Lee Hunter, Caleb Lomu, Caleb Banks, Chris Bell. That's a good pick for Cincy. He's a good receiver. It's just he got hurt, so it's like, okay, his draft stock fell. Emmanuel Pregnon, okay. Chase Bisontis went immediately to Miami. Shit, okay. Ty Simpson, D'Angelo Pons, Chris Johnson, Jeremy Bernard. I wouldn't even mind Bernard in the second round. Jacob Rodriguez, AJ Halsey, R. Mason Thomas, Keith Abney, and Malachi Lawrence. Okay. Actually, get that ginger mullet on the team. I know it says tackle, but he's probably going to end up as a guard. So he's 6'5", 315. He has only ever played right tackle, but I think teams are looking at him as a guard. Review. Now, here's a guy. Oh, gee, thanks. Anyway, so I think people are really looking at him as a guard, and we'll go from there. Chris Brazzell, Jake Galday, Skylar Bell, Traden Stukes, Bryce Lance, Joshua Josephs, Caleb Tiernan. I'm going to go Jennings Dunker because Iowa, they just seem to work in the NFL. I'm just going to take Jennings. See what happens. All right, we're going to go back up. All right, Chris Brazzell, Gabe. It's a silent J, I think. So it's like Akis or something. I think that's a silent J in his name. Anyway, Eli Stowers, Joshua Josephs, Caleb Tiernan, Bryce Lance. That is Trey Lance's younger brother, if anyone doesn't know. Jadarian Price, Skylar Bell, Keontae Scott, Dennis Sutton, Davison Igbinosun. Oh, Big Citrus, Dominique Orange from Iowa State goes to the Cardinals. Derek Moore, Antonio Williams, Elijah Surratt, I like him too. Kalen Rutledge, the guard from Georgia Tech. He's another one of the guys. Traden Stukes, Jake Galday, Josiah Trotter. He's Jeremiah Trotter's son. Romello Height, Daryl Jackson Jr. I like him. Grayson Halton from Oklahoma. Available. I probably would not take Mike Washington. I wouldn't take a halfback yet. There is Kyle Lewis or Kamari Ramsey from USC. I'm looking at... Oh, you know who didn't go yet? Where is he at? Ted Hurst, right here, 97. I don't know if I can get him at 99 or not, but I would love to just, for the Steelers, get their hands on him. And at that point, your top three are DK, Pittman, Cooper Jr. That's your top three. Then if you add Ted Hurst, right, that's 4. You got Roman Wilson, and you got oh my God, Skoranek. So you got like 6 guys there. And Skoranek would make the team because of special teams. So Roman Wilson would like really have to prove himself. But that's not a bad wide receiver room at all if I decided to go that route. But that's at least pick 85, right? We have 85. Yeah. I can wait, right? This is the 3rd round pick we got for George Pickens. So there's Mike Washington. He is 6'2", 228. I think he had like a really good 40 time. He might have had like a 4.3 something. Right? Let me check that quick. I want to be right when I talk. Mike Washington Jr., the running back out of Arkansas. You go to his combine profile. 6'1", 223. He ran a 4.33. There you go. He ran 4.33 at 6'1", 223 or whatever he was. That is not bad. That is some speed for and a big back at that position. So here's the thing, right? So last year, everyone was talking about Caleb Johnson for the Steelers. And they were talking about him for the Steelers because he was a great zone running back, right? That he fits the zone run scheme, which that was the Arthur Smith scheme. Caleb Johnson, he may not fit what Mike McCarthy wants to do. And that's not to say Mike Washington does, right? Which is why this is a little different this year because it's not Mike Tomlin. The coaching staff is like all new. So, but in the past we were able to say, okay, this is what this guy likes. This is what they've done with this guy. And therefore we can kind of predict who they're going to take. We don't know shit. So that's kind of where I'm at, right? So we have Washington, Branch. See, Branch, he's a little small. Burks is pretty damn small, 5'9". Yeah, he weighs more than Branch. Those small receivers I'm a little iffy on. A guy like a Max Clare, I'm not interested in tight end yet. And that's the thing, yet. I'm going to be looking more, God, in maybe the 4th or 5th round for a tight end. Maybe 6th, if there's a guy with a good grade. I think I'm going to go Kamari Ramsey here, right? 6 foot, 205, so he might be 5'11", 200, whatever. Slot and box, and which means he could, possibly be the backup to like an Elliott, and who knows if he takes over in a year or two. I'm thinking about taking Kamari Ramsey here. Obviously, you have Kyle Lewis, linebacker, but he's not 6'1", he's not 220. He's not. He's probably 6 and maybe 210 or 205 or something like that. Kyle Lewis. All right. Combine profile. He came in at 6 foot, 220. Okay, so he actually is 220, but he came in at 6 foot, right? He ran 4.53 in the 40. So he's too small to really be inside the box linebacker. He's probably more fit to be a safety at the NFL level. Now, could you take him and try to turn him into Devin Bush, who's 5'10", 5'11"? Probably. He's a smaller linebacker, and he's still in the NFL. Could you try to turn him kind of into that? You could. You could try to do that. Or you can just say, hey, we're playing you at safety and go from there. But, so he ran 4.53. I'm just going to do a Kamari Ramsey. And who knows, maybe a Kamari Ramsey can, play like big nickel or something. He came in at 6 foot. He came in at 202. And he ran a 4.47. That was what Kamari Ramsey came in at. I'm going to take Ramsey. And then we have 2 Ramseys on the team. All right, Burks is still there. Okay, Anthony Hill Jr. That is interesting. Out of Texas, right? I think this is the last year of Patrick Queen's deal. So that is interesting to me. Ted Hurst is still there. I wouldn't mind a Markel Bell as my last pick. So if I like Hurst and Bell, fuck. I'm considering that Anthony Hill Jr. pick there. Like in Markel Bell, he is a true left tackle, right? Where is he at? Right here. He is a true left tackle. 6'9", 345 pounds. So I would say I'm gonna take Anthony Hill. I'm gonna have him sit for a year, and he's gonna end up taking Patrick Queen's place. He measures in 6'3", 238, great size. Let's take Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker out of Texas. It's not a huge need, but that is a nice pick for the future. Okay. What? Bell went? When did Ted Hurst go? 90 to Miami. Shit. All right. I'm not huge on taking a quarterback, and we have Garrett Nussmeier, Andrew Aller. Curiosity. Right guard. Okay. Not to say he can't play left, but I probably wouldn't want to take a late third rookie and make him switch sides on the offensive line. Because then at that point, I would tell Jennings, okay, you're a tackle, but no, I'm not doing that. I like Malik Muhammad. Go back-to-back Texas. I've kind of soured on the quarterback position, right? Because if we take like a Garrett or a Drew Aller here, right? Hypothetical. We take one of those two guys. Then our quarterback room as of today is Mason, Drew or Garrett, and Will, right? But not to say you can't try to develop two young quarterbacks at the same time. It's going to be a little hard to do it. And I don't know if they really do like Will Howard as much as they say they do. Then I don't think they take a quarterback. I think they say, fuck it, we're going with Will. Now, so after that, right, so let's not take the guard, right? Unless if he sits and then he's the replacement for Mason McCormick in 2 years? I think they just finished their second year. But and maybe he can learn both. But then I just took two guards and I would still want to take a tackle potentially. Because was Dylan Cook a one-off? Is Broderick Jones going to be okay? So I'm kind of thinking like, we just took a linebacker, so I'm not taking Elliott. I mean, Trigg is still there out of Baylor. He's interesting, though I think he has off the field issues. If we go to Malik Muhammad here, he's 6 foot, he's 188. Corner. So he's an outside corner. We have... what's our corner room? We have Joey. We have Dean. Let's count Jalen Ramsey as a corner. Because I think with Elliott... actually, the Darnell Savage signing, I don't think that's ever actually officially been announced. But let's say we have Darnell Savage. We have... Brisker, and we just drafted Kamari Ramsey. Like, so even if you take away Savage, that's still 3, right? Like, I don't think Jalen Ramsey needs to be classified as a safety. So we would have Joey, Dean, Ramsey, and slot. Behind him are Eccles, Samuel, and in theory, Trice. But we can't really count on Trice because he can't stay healthy. So, do we take a Corleone from Cincinnati? So he's 6'1", 335. And it was brought up that like every D lineman they have is like 6'3" or taller. Like that's a legit thing. So... let me look at Trigg. He's 6'4", 240. He's going to be the third tight end, right? That is... God. There's a tackle. Crown over. He's 6'7". Don't say it. 336. Class G. Is he a grad? Really? Oh, so he would have a lot of experience. Okay, he's a right tackle. Okay, so he is a right tackle. He's not a left. Not mean he can't learn, but he's probably a right. Caleb Proctor from Southern Louisiana, 6'3", 280. He would come close to fitting the bill for what the Steelers do. We don't need a center. We just signed what's his name. He's a center guard. Plus we re-signed McCollum. We don't need a center. Damn it. There's no good picks here. Anyone I pick, it's going to be a crowded room. Except for probably Trig. And we don't need a tight end. We have Pat and we have Darnell. Darnell's like year 4. So in theory, if they let Darnell walk... Screw it, we're taking Trig. It's going to be a bad draft. I can just feel it. It's going to grade my draft. It's going to be terrible. Yep. I did not like how this draft fell. I did not like it at all. On the bottom 24% of Steelers drafts. Ugh. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're good players. They are. Absolutely, they're good players. But that really didn't fall how I wanted it to. If I had my choice, if I could have traded up, like if I knew that Ione or Vega, whatever, if Vega was from Penn State was going to go, I would have just traded up to 18 and drafted him. If or, in the second round, I'm trying to trade up for a guard. And I mean a guard, a Pregnon, or a Bisontis. Like, I'm going for those guys. So are these good players? Yes. But I don't really like that draft. Man. Alright, draft number 2, and I already used a half hour of time on this. We're moving over to the NFL mock draft database. Let's do normal because I can trade. Enter the draft room. Start. Alright. Player list. Why are there so many ads? Alright. Ruben Bain still there. Caleb Downs. Alright, there's Vega. Vega's there. We're just gonna look. Green Bay, why are you offering me this? I'm not gonna go. This would just, I would have a second round pick. Yeah, I'm getting picks next year, but I don't want it. That's a decent trade. I don't think I want it, though. Go all the way back to 36. The Bills, they don't have a 2, so they're just going to give me 3-5 and then 2-3-5 next year. Yeah. The Chargers want to go up 1 pick and will give me a 6. I'm not going to trade. The whole trade you 1 pick, or to trade up or back 1 pick, I'm not a fan of that. I'm just going to take Vega Ione from Penn State. He's the top guard in the draft. I'm just going to take him. He's a left guard. You put him there and your left guard's done for the next decade. You can have a top 5 left guard, top 5 center, and top 5 right tackle in the league for the next decade. Pregnon's still there. Okay. Alright. You want to give me a 4? That's not bad. A 4 next year to go back 7 picks. I'll consider it. No. No. 3, no. Alright, I'll consider Chicago's. Alright, Brandon Sissy, Pregnon, Lee Hunter, Chase Bisontis, Kristen Miller. Gee, I like the way this board fell a lot better. I would take either a Bisontis. I don't know if I'd take a Lee Hunter. It's really just a nose. Maybe Anthony Hill, Chris Bell. I like him. I gotta go back 7 picks. And he's the 51st ranked prospect. There's Halsey out of LSU. He's alright. Wait. You have 57. Give me 57. No. Chicago. You're going to offer me 60, which is the Bills pick. All right, so 4 this year. I don't really want... Could I give you a 3 and I give in... So basically, you trade up 4 picks now. I trade up 10 picks later. That seems fair, right? Because I don't need any more draft picks. I really don't. Like, unless I can pull this off. Give me 60, 76. That really favors me. It does. So I'm going to throw in my second 4th round pick. And I think that I'm going to move back 4 picks right now. But I'm going to move up 16 picks to have 2 second rounders. I'll have 2 thirds, and I have 1 fourth. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think this is a bit more fair of a trade. Yes, I could have kept my 4th, but I just think as far as... I'm going to take Chris Bell. But as far as... anything else, so... I just thought that was way too lopsided. Reject. 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 Alright. Let's see here. Let's do... So what have I taken so far? I took Ione or whatever his name is. I took Vega, and I took Chris Bell. I should take another wide receiver soon, depending on the health of Chris Bell. That will... Maybe an Antonio Williams. Not right now, but... I don't know if he'd still be there in the 3rd. You know what? I took Anthony Hill in the last one. Let's take Anthony Hill again. Again, we're getting the depth. Because right now our linebacker room is Patrick, Peyton, Cole Holcomb, and Harrison. I'm like, let's do something about that. I kind of don't want to do that. You would give me 135 back after I just gave it to you? Oh, shit. No. 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 You're offering me such late picks. Oh, Antonio Williams is still there. Oh, sweet. I'm taking him. Antonio Williams. Let's see this guy right here. Is there any... okay, whatever. Alright, whatever. We took a... Oh, hi. 4, 5... We really don't need more picks. I really don't. Let me see how the board's falling. I took a guard, a wide receiver, a linebacker, and a wide receiver. That's what I did right now. I'm kind of happy with how this is turning out. Safety, Zakee Wheatley. I would be perfect with that right there. I would consider Darrell Jackson too. What's my next pick? Hold on. Let me see if I can finagle this. Okay, my next pick's 121. Can I use... I don't know if I want to use 161 to do it. There's Kilgore as a safety. He's decent. Bud Clark, safety. There's a few safeties. not a whole lot of D linemen. So if I take Darrell Jackson out of Florida State, let's say, right? Say I take him. What were the trade offers, by the way? 118 and 132. I really don't want to go back that far. All right. So let's say I do that, right? I decide to take Darrell, right? What is my D line in theory? Cam Hayward, which we're probably going to get. We're going to get this year, maybe next year out of him, right? But an old Cam Hayward, we would have Harmon, Benton, who's year 4. We have Y.A. Black, Sebastian Joseph Day, Cam, Harmon, Black, Benton, Joseph Day. Cam, Harmon, Benton, Black, Joseph Day. Is that only 5? I know we would have like a Logan Lee. I might take Darrell here. I might take Darrell Jackson. And then I'll just draft a safety. So let me do this and pause. Okay. Where's safeties? Right here. So there's Smith, Wheatley, Kilgore, Bud Clark. When I see like 3 out of 4 gone, that's when I will pause if I have to trade up. Okay. Who just went? Genesis Smith did. Okay. So that still leaves Wheatley, Kilgore, and Clark. All right, we're going to do this. Oh, whoa. Okay, Wheatley went. Okay. He just went to Baltimore. Okay. So as long as Kilgore and Bud Clark don't go back-to-back to Carolina and Green Bay, we're good. Okay, Kilgore went. Go away, Dallas. Go away. Yeah, reject. I'm going to reject all of those. And I'm just going to take Bud Clark out of TCU. Draft. Alright, so where are we right now? Pause. We have Vega, Chris Bell, Anthony Hill Jr., Antonio Williams, Darrell Jackson Jr., and Bud Clark. So I went guard, wide receiver, linebacker, wide receiver, D-line, safety, tight end, running back. Get some value, guys. And I can wait now. Right? I'm like, I really don't need a corner. Could I take one? Yeah. Do I need to? No. You know, if Nick Herbig's leaving, could I take an edge in the 6th round? Yeah. Do I need to? No. I'm actually in a really good spot. All right. This is where I'd almost consider a trade, but instead of like instead of a 5 and a 6 this year, give me a 6 next year. Like, I don't need another 6. I could take a tackle. I haven't taken a tackle. Okay, there's a Cage Casey from Boise State. I don't know anything about him. Let me filter by position. So what do I need? I'm not going to take a quarterback. Running back. So 134. Okay, there's the kid from Wake Forest. Claiborne. There's Allen. Singletary should still be here. Did Singletary from Penn State go? Oh, maybe. All right. Yeah, the only other one. Okay. I might consider Wake Forest or maybe Allen from Penn State. He could room with Vega. We don't need a wide receiver. Tight end. Here we go. Joe Royer, Cincinnati. Jake Endries, Texas. He could room with Anthony Hill. There's Ela, Daquan Wright. There's a couple. Tackles. Cage. What's edge looking like? Okay. We are going to go... We're going to go Cage. Let's go Cage. Cage Casey. Okay? Let's do that. I'm just going to look at the board and just figure out as I go. Like, okay, do this. Okay, do that. You know, Isaiah World, that could have been another tackle. I think he's huge. Which, then his last name is actually, like, apt. I know it's gonna be it's a long effing wait. That's why I got the tackle when I did. Running back, tight end, figured out. So how many picks do I have left? 1, 2, I have 4 picks left. I'm looking at a running back. I'm looking at tight end. I can look at edge. Running back, well... No, I probably wouldn't go edge. I'd probably just... Because if Nick leaves, I'll just... Next year, after the season, I'll just bump 5-star up. And then I'll draft a guy and he can be the 4 now. So I won't draft edge. I'm going to go... Maybe I'll go corner? I don't know. That room's kind of packed too. See, this is the issue with the Steelers having 12 picks. And that's why I didn't mind giving up that extra 4 to make the trade a little more fair. Because I want a running back, I want a tight end. Maybe I'll take a project quarterback, get a camp arm a little bit, and like, you know, maybe a high traits guy. I don't know. I don't need another D lineman. I don't need a tackle. I took one. Wide receiver, I took 2. Edge, don't need it. Wide receiver. Interior line, quarterback, tight end, Wills Kekmerick from Ohio State. Marlon Klein from Michigan. What are the trade offers? Give me a pick next year. There are 3. Chicago, Cincy, Green Bay. And they're all offering 2 7s. Well, I don't want to trade with Cincy. Chicago and Green Bay both are playoff teams, let's be honest. So I don't like anything here. So I'm just going to see if you give me a 7. Give me a 7 this year and a 7 next year. It's too much. But this is the part that kills me. Okay, that's too much. But, and I think it's counting it as... Alright, so I'm more or less forced. I would happily, if I don't like anything on the board, I would say, okay, give me a 5 next year. Or give me a 6 next year. I don't care. The draft's better next year. Give me a 6. Or, you know, give me a 6 this year or a 6 next year and a 7 this year, 7 next year. I don't care. Give me picks. But if this is where we're at, God, we're going to end up too loaded at one position. I mean, do I just take Cade Klubnik just because? And let him come to camp? Screw it, I'll take Will. Oh, I don't know. This is just, you know, at this point you're throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks. Cade's still there. Cade, welcome. I don't care. Alright. 7. I hate this. Oh, shit. Screw it. I'll just bring the kid out of Texas Tech. Just give him, maybe he can return. I don't know. And Boston College. We're done. Just get another offensive lineman because why the fuck not? Like, this is where you would be like, yeah, can we just trade this? Like, I don't like any of the value here. So I'm not going to count, like, okay, B plus, A plus, A plus, B plus. That's not bad. But I care more about basically Cage and up. A plus, A plus, A, B plus on the Antonio Williams, A plus, A. All right. I like this draft better than the previous one. But that is it for this video. If you guys did enjoy this, please do leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, turn notifications on. And I'll see all you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.